Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Initially, I thought I'd talk about President Trump's supposed peace deal with Iran. I was very happy about that, and until I looked into it a little bit, it's got a 60-day ceasefire. Nothing's been signed except for a mutual understanding that they're going to get together and do it. Both sides they're screaming victory. Trump saying he got everything he wanted. I hope this works out. But there's no agreement on the table. There's nothing that has been fleshed out. I'm glad that the straits have been opened and that we can start letting the oil flow again. I don't really see this going places that either country is going to be able to say, yes, we're victorious. And I don't think that Iran's going to give up their nuclear program. The amount of disappointment that I have felt over the president's actions in the Middle East it's a frustration that I'm still feeling to this day. You're the no new wars president. Your inability to keep us out of a war, your inability to diplomatically find a solution to this situation is a failure on your presidency. If the only thing we get out of this peace agreement is the opening of the strait, then this military action really was for nothing. It is discouraging to watch what is happening happen. A 60-day ceasefire extension, straits have started to reopen, and nuclear talks will be held, I believe it's in Geneva. This doesn't really sound like getting everything you want. So the war started with the president touting the idea that the Iranian people will be free. That's off the table. That's not happening. Iran cannot have any nukes. Well, we're going to have nuclear talks in Geneva. That really doesn't sound like it's a settled deal to me, to have put our troops' lives on the line on a war that the president said was absolutely not going to happen. I guess the proof will be when the president gets the final documents from this supposed peace deal. I'm not even convinced that the ceasefire is going to hold over the next 60 days. It hasn't held over the last 60 days. So the idea that now we're going to have peace and Iran's not going to attack any ships and America's not going to retaliate, I certainly hope that there's enough follow-through on this idea to take us to a true peaceful outcome. Oil is going down in price. We have a ways to go before we hit where we were pre-war. Watching the pundits talk about oil prices, that's going to take a couple months. Might happen just about the time we have the midterms. Wouldn't that be convenient? One of the things the president was so successful at during his last presidency was the Abraham Accords. This time, he took us to war. I think perhaps the Abraham Accords could now be followed up by President Trump with the actual implementation and strengthening of the War Powers Act, clarification of how it works, and implementation to take this horrible war that we've just had and turn around and re-emphasize the War Powers Act would be a huge, huge win and really a presidential victory if he could fix the War Powers Act so it carried weight, got it pushed through Congress so that this situation doesn't happen again. That could be considered a huge win for the presidency. Make it right. If it needs the days to be changed, how many days you can have as a limit, change it. Make it work. Bring stability to our military and to our civilians' outlook on the presidency, overview of the military. President Trump is the person who can make that happen. He's the one that can say, let's not do this again. All the president has to do now is say, okay, let's fix this. Let's make this right. This is what we need to have the War Powers Act, and this is how it needs to be enforced. And not some compromise this time, but something with teeth, so the people understand that the War Powers Act will work. The new War Powers Act. You call it War Powers Act 2.0, who cares? Fix it so that there's none of this ambiguity and we don't have people saying the president is breaking the law. That would be a great outcome. That would be something that would be celebrated by everybody on both sides. Fix it. I'm going to go out here and do a job. a job I like. I hope that you all have a great day. I hope that you all go out and find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, lahi throat.